Hey guys, MTG Noob back here with you, bringing you some more M13 spoilers. We have a bunch of cards that are common and uncommon spoiled today. They are pretty sweet. Some are new, some are old, so let's get into it. I already put up blue and white, so check those out if you haven't. Okay, here we go for black. Blood Hunter Bat, which is a new one. Creature type bat. It costs 3 and 1 black, so it costs 4 for a 2/2 flyer. When Bloodhunter Bat enters the battlefield, target player loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. This is a card I think you're going to see at common played. The 2/2 flyer for 4 is undervalued. It's not really that good. It's, overcosted. But the ability to gain 2 life and drain your opponent for 2 life is pretty relevant. Then you have Duress, which is a reprint. 1 black, sorcery. Target opponent reveals his or her hand. You choose a non-creature, non-land card from it. That player discards that card. It's a pretty standard staple in control decks, usually blue-black control or Esper control, usually in the sideboard, and it's a common this time around. Duty Bound Bat. I said duty, that's right. It's a new card. It's a single black to cast for a 0/2 common. Creature type skeleton. It has exalted, so it can swing as a 1/3 on turn 2, which is nothing really great, but it hangs back and it regenerates, but it's not going to kill anything when it's regenerating. And the regeneration cost is pretty steep at 4, but it does block giant ground guys, so I think it's still decent. Okay, you could probably get a few of them at common if you really needed to prevent early game shenanigans, but you're not really going to be regenerating until at least turn 4. Okay, next you have Harbor Bandit, uncommon, 2 and 1 black, so cost 3. Creature type, human rogue. Okay, so they have some rogues coming back. Harbor Bandit gets 1/1 as long as you control an island. So if you control an island, it's a 3/3. And if you pay 1 in blue, it's unblockable this turn. I think if blue and black combine for an aggressive deck, this is a really good guy in that role. I think he's also very good in a controllish type of deck because he eventually gets there. And a 3/3 unblockable guy is usually hard to deal with for a lot of decks, especially on turn 3. Okay. Next you have Knight of Infamy, another uncommon. 2/1 human knight, protection from white and exalted. So it's the opposite of the white knight that I spoiled earlier, and it cost 1 and 1 black. So this guy's pretty good. Usually the creatures that have pro black are better than the creatures that have pro white, but he is pretty aggressive, so nothing wrong with that, especially with the exalted. Okay, Liliana Shade is next. Okay, this is also a new one. I like this card, especially at common. I don't think it'll see constructed play, but shades are usually decent at 3. They're playable at 4, but this one has a special little ability. It costs 2 and double black, so it costs 4. It's common, like I said. Creature type, Shade. When Liliana Shade enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a swamp card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. And for a single black, it pumps and gets 1/1 until end of turn. Now the reason I don't like this is because if you play it on turn 4, it's only a 1/1, but if you have a way to protect it, it actually becomes very good. And it helps fix your mana a little bit, even though you're only getting a swamp, but essentially that swamp lets you pump it for an extra 1/1 next turn, essentially. Okay, here's a card that a lot of people are already talking about. It's called Murder, which is by far a very sweet name for it. I think it kind of takes the game in, a more adultish realm than it's been in the past with, the cutesy creatures and trying to be like teen 14 or whatever, like trying to keep it PC a little bit. But this one basically is kind of a fixed version of every black removal spell. Doomblade, Go for the Throat, it's really good. it costs 1 and double black, instant destroy target creature. And there's no rules to that. So destroy target creature, nothing wrong with that. It's a common. I think it'll be probably a first pick if black is powerful in draft. And I could see it end up being played and constructed maybe as a 1 or 2 of. Okay, next is a reprint, Ravenous Rats. 1 and black, so costs 2. Creature type rat. It is a common. And when it enters the battlefield, target opponent discards a card. So for 1/1 body and they discard a card, it's okay. Doesn't really get the job done in constructed, but maybe if it has some more discard effects printed, it will be a little bit better. Okay, then we talked about Servant of Nefarox. Sign in Blood is another reprint. I actually like this card a lot. Plus double black for a common sorcery. Target player draws 2 cards and loses 2 life. So sometimes you could shock opponents to death out of nowhere. Sometimes you need to just draw 2 cards, and the life loss is totally fair. I think people would pay 1 life to draw a card, and in this case you're paying 2 life and drawing 2 cards. Nothing wrong with that. Okay, Tormented Soul, another reprint. Cost 1 black for a creature type spirit. M13 common, and it can't block and is unblockable, and it's a 1/1. So it kind of gets in there with aggressive decks. It kind of does a lot of damage because people usually do not respect it, and then sure enough you're at 10, then you're at 9, then you're at 8, and you're like, oh crap, I got to deal with this little guy just chipping away at my life, and very annoying. Alright, here's the final black card that I'm going to spoil tonight, and let me tell you something, it is a very, very good one add-on common. Vampire Nighthawk, cost 3, double black, and 1. It is an uncommon. It's a Vampire Shaman, which I don't know if it's always been a Vampire Shaman. I assume it has to be. It has 3 abilities, Flying, Death Touch, and Lifelink, and it's a 2/3 flyer with Death Touch and Lifelink. Let me tell you, this card is a pain in the butt to play against. When you have it on your side, you kind of almost feel invincible because it takes down their best threat. It gains you life when you smash in with it. They don't ever want to block it. It wins races, and Vampire Nocturnus and Vampire Nighthawk are very good friends. So if they print some pretty decent 2 casting cost and 1 casting cost vampires, obviously you have Stormkirk Noble, you have the Captain, you have some things going on. So maybe Vampires is here to stay once again and be a player. Get your Vampire Nocturnuses if you don't have them already, I would think. Okay, so this is the MTG Noob. I know this was a long spoiler for black, but they released a lot of cards. Next, I'll bring you red, so check that out. If you haven't checked out all the videos on my channel, please do. Please tell all your friends. Thanks for watching, and most importantly, if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. Thank you.